I was thinking, random thought here, wish list kind of thing, about this whole, thinking about this whole Black Flag and everybody else in the Pirate Corps. I never knew why they were dropping corps into NPC and, doing tourists into their buddies, um, corporations, entities, alliances, just to tour on some kill mails or, support their friends. And I'm thinking, it's always been, yeah, whatever, it's the exploit or whatever, the CCP doesn't care. But I'm like, you know, why don't CCP just code if you drop to NPC when your corporation is in a war or just has a cooldown or has a 2 week timer, that kind of, hey, you've been in a war, your corporation's war HQ was blown up, you got a 2 week timer before you start another war. If you drop your corporation, you will incur a 2 week timer where you can't join another corporation. If you're dropping an NPC, you're gonna get a 2 week timer. And then you can join whoever. Let's see, exploits. There's none. Annoyances, there's none. It would most likely be, let's see now. Could the system, now it's nice to speculate and say, oh, can we put some nuance to this, but is it possible with the mechanics, like I'm thinking of a nuance here, what if you're the aggressor, you lost your war HQ, you got a 2 week cooldown, so aggressor cooldown, right? Would the system be able to recognize, like the mechanics, the hard coded mechanic? Could the mechanics recognize the difference between a defender who's being WARDEC'd, right, and an aggressor? Now, you think about it, it doesn't really matter, because if a player who's been WARDEC'd quits his corporation, drops to NPC, he's not going to immediately go join another corporation, right? He's just going to go, this sucks, I'm quitting this corporation, right? Now, if the corporation he was part of quit the alliance he was WARDEC'd, right? Would you think, okay, well, would that prevent, like, when you drop, you'll still carry on the WARDEC timer, right? You'll start a new war with that entity. So that's not a problem at all. That's taken care of. There are no exploits. There is no, it's like a hard nerf to these idiots going on Safari. Well, not Safari, but, musical chairs with their corporations. Their buddies are in trouble or there's a good content and they drop to NPC and immediately join that entity and go blap some people, drop to NPC and join their old corp instantly, dodging all the stuff. And of course, that makes sense. I mean, the ability for them to have left Vendetta Mercenaries, just a shell company for them, moving over to Black Flag again, probably straight from, you're prevented from joining a corp. So you cannot quit a corporation. Well, you can't apply to anybody else until your 2 week timer is up, right? So you've got to wait till that 2 week timer is over for the corporation before you apply to another corporation, right? You could drop to NPC, but then you would incur a new 2 week timer, right? If the system could remember when the cooldown is over, then okay, that's fine. But I suspect it might not. So that's why I'm saying when you drop to NPC, you'll start a new 2-week timer. But if you stay in the corporation, you'll have to wait till the 2-week timer is over until you join another corp. Now, could the system recognize, because the pirates could grief entities, but they couldn't really, right? Because say if they were doing it to harass people, it chase them down and harass them and grief them. Could they WARDEC say an alliance, and if you were part of the alliance, you realized, oh, we need a holding corporation, or there's a holding corp, just join our holding corp, and you'll avoid the WARDEC. They try to join that holding corp that's non-war eligible or whatever, right? The Care Bear side, and they're unable to because they're part of a war. That would prevent them from leaving, so the pirates could target people and they'd be vulnerable during that aggressive WARDEC by the pirates, and they wouldn't be able to escape that. They would, and that's what CCP tried to prevent by doing the WARDEC system, because people would just quit, right, if they didn't have that option. Now, of course, if you drop to NPC, that's a holding corp all its own, and it's non-war eligible, and you could go about your daily business, mining and all that Care Bear stuff without worry at all, right? And then at the end of the 2 weeks, you'd be able to join that holding corp and go, well, okay, we should have done this originally, and blah, blah, blah. But I don't think that this suggestion has any wiggle room for the pirates to exploit, right? This is a hard counter to their tactics, right? Yeah. Anyways, I'm sure I'll think about this for a while, but it sounds solid. I mean, maybe something will occur to me, and I'll do a correction on this video and make it private if it has too many loopholes to it and would help the pirates more than it would hurt them, right? But yeah, it seems doable. Why not, right? If you quit the NPC and you're part of a war or part of a cooldown, you'll incur it will prevent you from joining for 2 weeks, because it says, I mean, it's the same kind of thing as dropping your roles. If you need to drop your roles to quit a corporation, right? Or to apply to a new corporation, you need to drop your roles in order to do that. Or something. I forget how it works exactly, but it gives you a 24-hour timer. So why not just a 2-week timer for if it detects, right? If it can do a 24-hour timer before you do that, why can't it just do, right? So it goes, okay, you're going to drop to NPC, but you're going to incur a 2-week cooldown until you can join another corporation, right? It makes perfect sense. They're in NPCs. They'd have to suicide gank in order to partake in piracy, right? And I'm sure it's not like, oh, you're ruining our gameplay, but it's like, look, you're probably part of code and safety too. You've probably got alts in code and safety. Why don't you just do that for 2 weeks? So sorry for your ability to seriously disrupt somebody else's gameplay. Well, suck it up, princess, Why are we catering? Why are we catering to the whims? Why is CCP catering to the whims of ISEC pirates? It's like, oh, they provide a valuable service. Yeah, we've seen that valuable service after the whole Upwell thing started. We've seen it. It's not a service. It's disgusting. They have taken something you gave them and thinking, oh, it's going to get rid of structures and it'll clean up the universe. No, there are bit-time pirates already doing that. What we're worried about is the yahoos. Does this stop them from doing that, right? Are we preventing that from happening by doing this? No. So all this whining and caviling, which will caviling, what this whining will do, is just their usual. You know, they hate change. You're disrupting their gameplay with abusing and pissing off people because they love to do that. That's it. It's not about helping CCP clean up the system. It's about griefing others and being douchebags because they're lazy, low risk, high reward griefers. That's it. They're just like Care Bears, you know? Care Bears want low risk, high reward, zero risk, high reward. Griefers do as well. And they're douchebags. They're by nature. Yeah, and that, right? So, anyways. Yeah, if I think of something else, another wrinkle, but I can't. I can't. When you go into this, like, right, it's a nice suggestion, but it's like, what if there's an obvious problem with it? I don't see it. It's a simple solution if the system can recognize that. It's got cooldowns. Can we make the mechanics adjust to that and detect that and like prevent, like, right, can it happen? Like, physically, can the code be altered, and can the code detect that, and can it work, right? Yeah.